Welcome back to the Coins Dealer channel where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into a very special coin. The 2009 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin. This tiny penny could be worth more than you ever imagined. So grab a seat, listen closely, and check your coin jar. Because you might be holding a small piece of copper that could change your life. First, let's understand why the 2009 penny is different. In 2009, the United States Mint released 4 unique designs on the Lincoln penny to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Each design highlights a different stage of his life, from his humble beginnings in Kentucky to his presidency in Washington, D.C. But not all 2009 Lincoln cents are created equal. Some of them were released without a mint mark. That means they were minted in Philadelphia. While that sounds ordinary, certain versions have become rare, especially in high-grade condition or with special errors. And that's where things get interesting. Let's start with the basics. A regular circulated 2009 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is usually worth just 1 cent. That's right. Just face value. But when collectors get involved, everything changes. Uncirculated versions, especially those with no scratches, shiny surfaces, or high luster, can be worth between $1 to $5. And that's just the start. If your coin is graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, and it scores a high grade like MS67 or higher, its value shoots up dramatically. Some of these have sold for over $50. That's 50 times its face value. But wait, there's more. The real jackpot lies in error coins and rare varieties. Some 2009 pennies have doubling in the lettering or design. Others may have striking errors or die breaks. If you come across a 2009 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny with visible doubling, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the condition and demand. Now here's where things get wild. There are stories and verified sales of rare pennies from 2009 reaching market values in the tens of thousands of dollars. In one extreme case, a special version of the 2009 Lincoln cent with a rare error in pristine condition reached nearly $80,000 at auction. That's right. A penny selling for the price of a luxury car, and yes, there are even rumors and documented listings of coins being appraised or offered for up to $1 million. That might sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. The right buyer, the right rarity, and perfect condition can create the perfect storm. $1 million pennies are real. They are rare, but they exist. But let's keep it real. Not every 2009 penny is going to make you rich. Most are still worth 1 cent. But if you've got a clean version, especially one from a roll you never opened, it might be worth checking it. Look for any oddities, doubling, or unusually shiny coins. You could be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. So how can you tell if your 2009 penny is valuable? First, check the reverse design. There are 4 types: the log cabin, the formative years, the professional life, and the presidency. Some designs are rarer than others, especially in mint condition. Second, look for errors. Anything unusual or off-center. Finally, consider sending your coin to be graded if you think it could be valuable. Collectors love the 2009 series because of its historical value and multiple designs. So even regular coins can be desirable when bundled together or sold in uncirculated sets. That's a great way to build value without hunting for $1 million unicorn. Before we wrap up, let's talk market value. On average, uncirculated 2009 no-mint mark pennies can be sold between $2 and $10 each depending on the design. Special errors range from 20 to hundreds. Top-grade MS69 coins are rare but can reach $500 to $1,000. And then those rare auction coins with unique features and perfect condition can skyrocket into the 5-figure range or beyond. So there you have it. The 2009 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A coin that may seem like pocket change but could be a hidden treasure. Check your drawers, search your old jars, and don't ignore the pennies. Because sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with fellow collectors, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of coins, currency, and collectibles. Let me know in the comments if you've found a rare 2009 penny, or if you're just starting your coin collecting journey. Who knows? You might be holding the next $1 million penny. 1967 No mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now, before you toss that penny aside thinking it's worthless, let me tell you something. That little copper coin could be hiding some serious value. Yes, we are talking thousands of dollars and in some cases, even more. So how can a penny be worth that much money? Let's rewind for a second and talk about the year 1967. It was the heart of the 60s. The Vietnam War was raging, the Beatles were dominating the charts, and the United States Mint was doing something interesting. In 1965, the Mint stopped placing mint marks on coins to discourage coin hoarding. This continued through 1967. That's why your 1967 Lincoln penny doesn't have a mint mark, even if it came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Now that part is not an error. All 1967 pennies lack a mint mark. So the coin itself isn't rare for that reason alone. In fact, over 3 billion of these were made. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of them have unique features. Some were struck off center. Some have double die errors. And some have incredibly high grades that make collectors go wild. Let's talk condition first. If you have a 1967 penny that looks like it just left the mint, you could be holding on to a small fortune. We're talking mint state grades like MS65, MS66, or even higher. These coins are graded on a 70-point scale. The closer to 70, the more perfect the coin. A regular circulated penny might only be worth 1 cent or a few bucks at best. But a high-grade example in pristine condition can fetch hundreds, thousands, and in some rare auction cases, tens of thousands of dollars. Here's a real example. An MS67 red 1967 Lincoln penny sold for over $5,000 at auction. That's $5,000 for a 1-cent coin. Why? Because it was in near-perfect condition. The coin had full original luster, no scratches, and sharp details. Very few 1967 pennies have survived in that kind of shape. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Now let's talk about errors. If your penny has a visible mistake, like a doubled die where the date or lettering appears doubled, that's a red flag in a good way. Some doubled die errors can push a penny's value into the thousands. There are also off-center strikes where the design is not aligned properly. These dramatic errors are very collectible and can sell for hundreds or more depending on how extreme they are. Another factor that adds value is the color. Collectors prefer what they call red pennies. These are coins that still have their original coppery shine. Brown and red-brown coins are worth less. If your 1967 penny looks shiny and new with that bright red copper glow, you might be sitting on a more valuable piece. So how do you find out if your penny is worth money? The best way is to examine it closely. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for doubling in the date or letters. Check if the coin looks off-center. And if it looks uncirculated or brand new, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will give your coin an official grade which can significantly increase its value when selling. Now let's talk big money. Is the 1967 Lincoln penny ever worth $1 million? Here's the truth. Most 1967 pennies are not going to make you rich. But rare coins have shocked the market before. And in numismatics, the study and collecting of coins, surprises do happen. The most valuable coins are often unique in their rarity, condition, or error. While number 1967 penny has officially sold for $1 million yet, some coin experts believe that the right combination of error, condition, and demand could push a sale close to that mark in the future. And imagine this. You're walking through a flea market. You see a jar of old coins for $5. Inside, a shiny 1967 penny with a double die error and full red luster. You send it in for grading. It comes back MS67 red with an ultra-rare error. Suddenly, that $5 jar turns into a $50,000 payday. Sounds impossible, but it's happened before with other coins. So what should you do now? Go check your coin collection. Look through your jars, drawers, and old boxes. That penny you tossed aside years ago could be worth far more than you ever imagined. If you do find something that looks promising, get it authenticated, and maybe, just maybe, you could turn a single cent into serious cash. 1972 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin. If you've heard rumors about this penny being worth thousands or even $1 million, stick around because we're going to break it all down. From what makes this coin special, to what it's really worth in today's market, and whether that penny in your pocket could be a hidden treasure. Let's start with a bit of history. The 1972 Lincoln penny features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design first appeared in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday and has become one of the most enduring designs in U.S. coin history. Now, in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 2 billion of these pennies. That's right, more than 2 billion. So if you've got a 1972 penny without a mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. That's because the Philadelphia Mint didn't use a mint mark at the time. So what makes some of these coins incredibly valuable? It all comes down to rare varieties, condition, and collector demand. Here's the deal. Most 1972 pennies are worth just face value, maybe a few cents more if they're in good shape. But there's one variety that stands out, the 1972 double die obverse. This is where things get exciting. A double die error happens during the minting process when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, but slightly off alignment. On the 1972 double die penny, you can clearly see doubling in the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1972. And when I say clearly, I mean obvious, even with the naked eye. This variety is extremely collectible. If you have a genuine double-die penny from 1972 and it's in excellent condition, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. For example, an uncirculated 1972 double-die penny graded MS65 by PCGS has sold for over $10,000 at auction. That's right, 1 cent turned into thousands. Now that's the kind of return that gets collectors excited. Now let's address the million-dollar question. Is there really a 1972 penny worth $1 million? Short answer, no. Not yet. While the 1972 double die is rare and valuable, it hasn't reached the $1 million mark. Most top-dollar pennies that go for 6 or 7 figures are older, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1909 SVDB penny in pristine condition. That being said, if a 1972 double die were discovered in near-perfect condition, I'm talking mint state 68 or higher, and if it sparked a bidding war among collectors, it could fetch a high 5-figure or even 6-figure price tag. But million-dollar claims? Most of those are myths, clickbait, or misinformation. So don't throw away your 1972 penny just yet, but also don't start planning your retirement around it, unless it's the double die variety. If you want to check your own 1972 penny, here's what to look for. First, make sure it has no mint mark, which confirms it's from Philadelphia. Then check the lettering on the front. Look closely at "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1972. If the letters and numbers appear doubled, you might have the real deal. Use a magnifying glass or take a clear photo and zoom in. If you think you've found one, don't clean it, that can lower its value. Instead, consider sending it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and assign it a grade, which can make a huge difference in its market value. So what's the 1972 penny worth in today's market? For regular 1972 no mint mark Lincoln cents, circulated coins are usually worth between 1 and 10 cents. In uncirculated condition, they might sell for a few dollars. But the 1972 double die variety? That's where the value jumps. A circulated one could sell for around $100 to $300. In mint state condition, especially MS63 to MS65, it can go for $500 to over $2,000. The highest graded examples, especially ones with full red color and no marks, can bring in 5 figures. Prices fluctuate based on collector demand, rarity, and auction results. But one thing's clear: this is one of the most valuable Lincoln Memorial cents you can find in circulation. To wrap it up, the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is an interesting piece of American coinage. While most are only worth a cent, a small number, especially those with the double die error, can be worth serious money. $1,000,000 claims might be exaggerated, but with the right coin, you could still be looking at hundreds or even thousands of dollars from a penny that many people overlook every day. So check your pocket change. You never know, your next great find might be hiding right in your coin jar. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more coin tips, rare finds, and collector insights. 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, this coin looks just like any other 1-cent piece, but what if I told you that a few of these have been valued in the thousands, and in some extremely rare cases, collectors believe they could reach values close to $1 million under the right conditions? Intrigued? Stick around and let's explore. First off, let's talk about the basics. The 1977 Lincoln penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins from Philadelphia during this period typically do not have a mint mark, so if you see a 1977 penny without a mint mark under the date, that's completely normal. It does not mean it's an error or super rare by itself. But don't walk away just yet, because what makes some of these pennies truly valuable lies in the condition, rarity, and minting errors. In terms of mintage, over 4.4 billion Lincoln cents were made in Philadelphia in 1977. Yes, billion with a B. So naturally, the majority of these are worth just face value, 1 cent. However, that doesn't mean there aren't exceptions. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king. A regular 1977 penny in average circulated condition is worth about 1 cent. But once you move into the uncirculated range, especially those graded mint state 65 or higher, the value can jump significantly. Now let's break that down. An MS-65 1977 no-mint mark penny is typically worth around $10 to $20. But if you find one graded MS-67 or MS-68, now you're talking serious money. These high-grade coins can be worth hundreds, sometimes even over $1,000, because they're so rare in perfect condition. Let's talk errors, because that's where things get very exciting. Collectors are always on the lookout for error coins. A 1977 penny with a double die, a misaligned die strike, or off-center strike could easily bring in several $100s or more, depending on the severity and demand. Double-dyed verse coins, where the design appears doubled, are especially valuable and sought after. If you're lucky enough to find a strong double die from 1977, you could be looking at a coin worth over $1,000. Now, there are rumors and reports in the coin community about ultra-rare varieties of the 1977 penny that have sold at auctions for astonishing prices. In some cases, unique errors or coins in pristine red MS-68 condition have fetched prices approaching $10,000 or more. Some collectors speculate that if a previously unknown variety or ultra-rare minting anomaly surfaced from this year, and it was in near-perfect condition, it could be the kind of coin that ends up selling for hundreds of thousands or even crossing that $1 million mark. It sounds crazy, right? A 1-cent coin potentially being worth $1 million? But in the world of numismatics, it's not impossible. We've seen it before with other coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, and the 1909 SVDB. Rare varieties, especially those found in circulation or stashed away unknowingly for decades, have broken price records again and again. So what should you do if you have a 1977 penny with no mint mark? First, don't spend it just yet. Examine it closely. Look for unusual features. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting. If it looks sharp and clean, consider sending it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade is essential for serious collectors and auction houses. And remember, the redder and shinier your coin is, meaning the original copper luster is still intact, the higher the potential value. Before we wrap up, here's a quick tip for all coin hunters. Always check old penny rolls from banks, flea markets, or estate sales. Many valuable coins have been discovered simply by sorting through rolls. Who knows? Your $1,000,000 penny might just be waiting in the next roll you open. 1978 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny. Some say it's worth a fortune. Some claim it's just a regular old penny. So, what's the truth? Can it really be worth thousands or even millions of dollars? Let's break it all down. First, let's talk about the basics. The 1978 Lincoln penny features the famous profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front side of the coin. On the reverse side, we have the Lincoln Memorial, which was used from 1959 to 2008. Now, the interesting part is the lack of a mint mark under the date. You might be wondering if this makes it rare. Here's the deal. The absence of a mint mark on a 1978 penny means it was minted in Philadelphia. That's perfectly normal. In fact, in 1978, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 6 billion of these pennies. That's right, over 6 billion. So, a no mint mark 1978 penny by itself is not rare. Now, let's talk value. If your 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is circulated, meaning it's been used in regular transactions and shows signs of wear, its value is typically 1 cent. In some cases, coin dealers might offer 2 to 3 cents for it if it's in slightly better condition. But here's where it gets more interesting. Uncirculated and high-grade examples. If you have a 1978 penny that's never been used and is in what collectors call mint state or MS condition, then the value can go up. For example, a penny graded MS-65 by a reputable grading service might sell for anywhere from $5 to $15. If it's MS-67 or higher, it could go for $100 or more. And in very rare cases, with perfect condition and beautiful red luster, some examples have sold for over $500. But $1 million? Let's pause here. There are lots of rumors and viral posts online about certain 1978 pennies being worth millions. People claim to have found one and think they struck gold. Unfortunately, there is no confirmed auction or private sale where a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny sold for anything close to $1 million. Not even $100,000. So where does this $1 million myth come from? It usually comes from confusion with error coins. Some coins that have extremely rare minting errors or unique features, such as a double die, off-center strike, or transitional metal composition, can fetch thousands. But to date, no known 1978 penny has any such verified error that makes it worth $1 million. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't check your change. You absolutely should. Errors can exist on any coin from any year. But they have to be confirmed by a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Without that verification, claims of high value don't hold up in the market. Let's wrap this up with what you need to look for. Condition. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Color. Collectors prefer red-toned copper pennies, not brown or dull ones. Rare errors. Look for doubling in the lettering, off-center strikes, or anything that looks out of the ordinary. But always get a second opinion before assuming it's worth a lot. So, is your 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1 million? Most likely, no. But could it be worth a few bucks, or even a couple hundred if it's in pristine condition? Yes. And that's still exciting for a coin that might be sitting in your old coin jar or pocket change. 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny. What it's worth, what to look for, and how this tiny copper coin could make you a millionaire. Now let's jump right in. First things first, the 1986 penny was struck by the Philadelphia Mint. That's why it has no mint mark. This is totally normal for coins from Philly, but just because there's no mint mark doesn't mean it's not valuable. Far from it. Most 1986 no mint mark pennies are worth just 1 cent in your pocket, but rare errors, high-grade conditions, and unique varieties can send the value of this coin skyrocketing. So let's talk about conditions. If you have a circulated 1986 penny with no mint mark, it's probably worth face value, but if your coin is in uncirculated or near mint condition, that's where things start to get interesting. A brilliant uncirculated penny graded MS-67 by a professional grading service can sell for over $100. Some examples have even sold for $250 or more, but wait, we are not done yet. Let's talk about the big money we're talking. Thousands, tens of thousands, even $1 million in rare cases. However, coins and unique varieties you see, sometimes mistakes happen at the mint. A double die off center, strike wrong planchet, or die clash. These can create ultra rare coins that collectors will pay serious money for. Let's take an example. If your 1986 penny has a double die error where the lettering or Lincoln's profile appears doubled or distorted, you could be looking at a value of several hundred to several $1,000s, even more. Valuable are coins struck on the wrong planchet. Say your penny was struck on a dime planchet, that means it's smaller and lighter than a normal penny. Those have been known to fetch thousands of dollars at auction. One extremely rare and mysterious variety is the transitional error. If your 1986 penny was mistakenly struck using the composition from a different year, say it's struck on a copper planchet when it should be zinc, that's where values hit the roof. Some of these rare transitional errors have fetched prices as high as $10,000 to $20,000 and in the highest grade possible, or if it's a one-of-a-kind known error, auction houses have listed rare pennies in the $100,000 range. Now here's where it gets really exciting. There are rumors and unconfirmed reports of extremely rare 1986 no-mint mark pennies with unique error combinations. If one of these coins were authenticated, it could break the $1 million mark. You heard that right, 1 cent turning into $1 million. So what should you be looking for? Here's a quick checklist. Number 1, no mint mark is normal for 1986 from Philadelphia, so no mint mark does not automatically make it rare. Number 2, look for errors. Check the date, check the lettering, look for doubling, misalignment, or weird color and size differences. Number 3, check the condition. If your penny looks brand new, you might want to get it graded. Professional grading increases the value and credibility of your coin. Number 4, use a Scalia. Regular 1986 penny should weigh around 2.5 grams. If it weighs more or less, that could mean it's on the wrong planchet, and that is where the value goes way up. So the next time you find a penny, don't just toss it aside. That little coin might be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or if you hit the jackpot, even $1 million. Coins like these are still out there in pocket change, in old jars and drawers across the country, maybe even in your home right now. So go take a look, check your change. You never know, that 1986 no mint mark penny in your hand could be your ticket to a fortune. 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny. Could it really be worth thousands or even millions of dollars? Let's find out. First, let's set the stage. The year is 1988. Ronald Reagan is president. Gas costs under $1. And the United States Mint is pumping out billions of Lincoln cents. Now here's the thing. Most of these coins were struck in Philadelphia and Denver. But the ones without a mint mark come from Philadelphia. That's completely normal. So just seeing a 1988 penny with no mint mark isn't rare by itself. But here's where it gets interesting. There's a variety of this 1988 Lincoln cent that collectors are going crazy for. It's called the 1988 reverse of 1989 penny. Basically, in 1988, a small number of Philadelphia minted pennies were accidentally struck using a reverse die meant for 1989 coins. This small mistake created a coin with a very unique design feature that sets it apart. The clue is in the details. Flip the coin over and look at the initials FG near the base of the Lincoln Memorial. On regular 1988 coins, the designer's initials are spaced further from the building. But on the rare 1988 reverse of 1989, the FG is closer and thinner, matching the 1989 reverse. This error is subtle, but it can mean big money. Now let's talk value. A regular 1988 no mint mark penny is still worth just 1 cent. It's pocket change. But if you have that rare reverse variety, you could be sitting on a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In fact, some of these coins in pristine condition have sold for well over $3,000 at auction. One nearly perfect example, graded by a top-tier grading service, sold for more than $2,500. And that was just a few years ago. Today, with more collectors aware of this variety, prices could be even higher. If you find one in your change and get it graded in mint state condition, you might be looking at a coin worth 4 figures or more. That's right. From 1 cent to over $1,000. Not a bad return on investment. Now let's address the big claim. Is this coin really worth $1 million? The truth is, no known example of the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny has ever sold for $1 million. However, The coin market is unpredictable. Rare varieties, especially era coins like this one, can explode in value when demand spikes. Just look at what happened to other pennies like the 1943 copper cent or the 1955 double die. Those once common coins became legends, and now some examples fetch hundreds of thousands or more. So while the 1988 reverse variety might not be worth $1 million right now, who's to say it won't be one day? If a high-grade example with perfect features hits the market, and collectors go wild, the sky is the limit. If you want to hunt for this coin, it's easy to start. Dig through your spare change. Look at old coin jars. Visit flea markets and coin shops. You never know where it might turn up. Use a magnifying glass and check the reverse for the FG initials close to the building. If you think you have the variety, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's the best way to confirm its authenticity and maximize its value. So there you have it. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but if it has that rare reverse, it could be a treasure in disguise. Worth hundreds, maybe thousands. And in the future, who knows? It could become one of the next $1 million coins. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss more hidden gems in your pocket change. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny, or if you think you might have the 1988 reverse. 1988 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny. Yes, you heard that right. That small copper-colored coin you might find lying in your junk drawer or mixed into pocket change could potentially be worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some collectors believe certain rare examples could be valued in the millions. So what makes this 1 cent coin so special? Why is the 1988 D penny making waves in the numismatic world, and how can you tell if the one in your pocket is a rare treasure or just ordinary change? Stick around as we uncover the hidden details, the shocking prices, and everything you need to know about the market value of the 1988 D Lincoln penny. First, let's start with a quick background. The 1988 penny was minted during a period of transition in the United States. Mint technology was improving but not perfect, and that led to some unexpected and valuable minting errors. The D stands for Denver, meaning this particular penny was struck at the Denver Mint. Now here is where things get interesting. There is a rare variety of the 1988 D penny known among collectors as the transitional era variety. This specific error happened when a reverse die intended for 1989 was mistakenly used on some 1988 D pennies. This means that the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial side, has design elements from the following year. So how can you spot this rare coin? Look closely at the FG initials located on the right side of the Lincoln Memorial just below the statue. These initials stand for Frank Gasparo, the designer of the reverse. On regular 1988 D pennies, the FG is separated from the building and slightly curved, but on the rare transitional reverse, the FG is sharply defined and sits much closer to the base of the building with a different shape and spacing. It is subtle, but a trained eye or even a good magnifier can help you spot it. Now here comes the shocker. In recent years, collectors have paid serious money for the rare 1988 D transitional reverse penny. We are talking auction prices of several $1,000s. Some uncirculated and mint condition examples have sold for as much as $15,000 to $20,000, and experts believe that a perfect, flawless example with the right grading could easily push six figures. That is $100,000 or more for a single penny. And yes, in theory, if a flawless version is discovered with a perfect strike and unique features under the right auction conditions, it could spark a bidding war. That is where the $1 million dream comes in. Although number 1988 D penny has officially sold for $1 million, yet many coin experts speculate that if the right coin came to market with all the right traits, it could reach those heights. Now let us talk about market value in general. Most 1988 D pennies in circulation are worth only face value, just 1 cent, but if your coin has the rare reverse or is in pristine uncirculated condition, it could be worth anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated and slabbed these transitional varieties, and their prices continue to rise due to scarcity and high demand. So what should you do next? First, check your change, then grab a magnifier and look at those tiny FG initials. Compare it with verified images of the rare variety. If you think you have a match, do not clean the coin and do not damage it. Instead, consult a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a grading service. Who knows, you might be holding on to a hidden Fortune. So in summary, the 1988 D Lincoln penny might look like ordinary pocket change, but under the surface it holds incredible potential. With the right features and a bit of luck, that 1-cent coin could be your ticket to a life-changing discovery. 1989 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint markings. That tiny copper coin sitting in your change jar could actually be worth a small fortune. In some rare cases it could even be worth thousands or more. So let's dive into what makes this coin special, what gives it value, and how you can find out if yours is worth big money. The 1989 Lincoln penny is a common coin in circulation. It was made in the United States with no mint mark, which means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. More than 7 billion of these were made in 1989, so most of them are worth just face value. But here's the twist: some of them have rare features or errors that make collectors go wild. That's where the real money comes in. This penny features the classic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front. It was designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, which was used from 1959 until 2008. The coin is mostly made of zinc with a thin copper coating. It weighs about 2.5 grams and is exactly 19 millimeters in diameter. But it's not the design or the material that makes some of these pennies valuable, it's the errors and condition. Now this is where it gets exciting. Certain 1989 pennies have rare mint errors that can send their value soaring. For example, some coins were struck off center, some have doubled dies where the letters or numbers appear to have been stamped twice, others might have die cracks, cuds, or even be missing part of the design. If you see a 1989 penny where the date or the word Liberty looks strange, take a closer look. You might be holding something rare. Even without errors, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. A penny that looks new with no scratches or marks is called mint state, or MS. These can be graded from MS 60 to MS 70, with MS 70 being perfect. A regular 1989 penny in average circulated condition is worth just 1 cent, but one in mint state 65 or higher can be worth anywhere from $10 to $100, and that's without any rare errors. Now let's talk big money. Has a 1989 penny ever sold for $1 million? Not yet, but there have been some surprisingly high prices. A 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark in mint state 69 red condition sold for over $4,000 at auction. Now that's rare and close to the top of the grading scale. Most pennies won't reach that price, but collectors will pay serious money for top quality examples. Some people online claim that certain rare varieties could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even $1 million, but the truth is those values only happen when a coin is both extremely rare and in perfect condition. So if you think you've got one like that, get it professionally graded. So how do you know what your 1989 penny is worth? First, take a good close look at it under a magnifying glass. Check for doubling on the date or letters. Look for off-center strikes or missing details. Next, check the color. If it's bright red and shiny, that's a good sign. Then compare it to sold prices on coin auction sites like Heritage Auctions or eBay, and if you think it might be rare or in great condition, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. So is your 1989 Lincoln penny worth $1 million? Probably not, but it could still be worth more than $1, maybe even a few hundred or a few thousand if it has the right features. The key is knowing what to look for. If you're going through old change or inherited a coin collection, check those 1989 pennies carefully. 1992 D Lincoln cent with a special feature that can make it worth thousands, or in top condition, even push its value toward $1 million. That's right. A coin that was minted for just 1 cent could be worth life-changing money if you know what to look for. Let's get into the full story of the 1992 D close AM penny, how to identify it, and why it's such a big deal in the coin collecting world. First, a little background. In 1992, the United States Mint was producing Lincoln Memorial cents at two locations: the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins from the Denver Mint have the D Mint mark just below the date. These pennies were made for general circulation, and billions were struck. So on the surface, the 1992 D penny seems like just another ordinary coin. But here's where it gets interesting. In that year, something unusual happened. A small number of 1992 pennies were struck using a proof reverse design, and this reverse design has a subtle but powerful difference. It's all about the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America. Most 1992 pennies have what's called a wide AM. That means there's a noticeable space between the A and the M in America. But on the rare era coins, that space is gone. The letters are almost touching. That is what we call the close AM variety. Now here's the key. A 1992 D penny with a close AM reverse is one of the rarest Lincoln cent varieties ever discovered. It's so rare that only a handful have ever been confirmed. And that's why collectors are willing to pay huge money to get one. How much are we talking? One of these coins sold for over $20,000 even in circulated condition. Yes, a coin that had been in someone's pocket sold for the price of a brand new car. And if you happen to find one in uncirculated or mint condition, the value skyrockets. In fact, experts believe that a flawless 1992 D close AM penny, graded MS 67 or higher by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC, could fetch upwards of $100,000 or more at auction. Some believe if a perfect specimen were to hit the market at the right time, it could push close to $500,000. And in today's collectible market, it's not crazy to imagine a bidding war that pushes this tiny copper coin toward the $1 million mark. So how can you tell if you have the right one? Step 1. Look at the back of the coin. That's the reverse. Focus on the word America. Grab a magnifying glass and take a close look at the letters A and M. If they're almost touching or have very little space between them, you may have a close AM variety. Step 2. Check for the D mint mark under the date on the front of the coin. It must say 1992 and have the D mint mark. That's the rare combination. Step 3. Confirm it. If you think you've found a match, do not clean the coin. Do not try to shine it up. Cleaning can ruin its value. Instead, get it professionally evaluated by a reputable coin dealer or send it to a third-party grading company. Even if your coin isn't the close AM version, it still might be worth something depending on its condition. But if it is the rare variety, you've hit a jackpot. Now let's talk about why it's worth so much. Coin collectors, or numismatists, value rarity and condition above all else. The 1992 D close AM penny is a mistake that should never have made it out of the mint. It's believed that only a small batch was accidentally struck with the wrong reverse die, possibly just a few dozen or a few hundred coins. And very few have been found. That scarcity drives up demand. Combine that with strong interest in Lincoln cents, one of the most collected series in U.S. coinage, and you've got the recipe for a high-value coin. Plus, let's not forget that a penny minted in 1992 is now over 30 years old. Most people have spent theirs without ever knowing what they had. Which makes it even more likely that there are a few out there still hiding in penny jars, change drawers, or coin rolls just waiting to be discovered. So what should you do? Start checking your change. Go through your old coin jars. Look at every 1992 penny you can find. Focus on the ones with the D mint mark. Then zoom in on the back and look for that close AM. This is the kind of treasure hunt anyone can do. You don't need to be an expert. Just a sharp eye, a magnifier, and some patience. If you find one, you could literally be holding a 5 or 6 figure coin in your hand. Maybe more, and that's why the 1992 D Lincoln penny with the close AM is one of the most exciting modern coins in U.S. history. 1993 No mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin. Yes, that's right. A simple penny from 1993 could be worth more than just 1 cent. In fact, it might be worth hundreds, thousands, and in some cases even $1 million depending on specific factors. So stay tuned because you won't believe what makes this ordinary coin so extraordinary. The basics of the 1993 Lincoln penny. Let's start with the basics. In 1993, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. These coins feature the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse or back. Most of these pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which means they carry no mint mark under the year. That might make them look unremarkable at first glance. But don't be fooled. Some of these no mint mark coins can be rare and extremely valuable. Why no mint mark matters? The absence of a mint mark on a 1993 penny doesn't always mean it's special. Most pennies without mint marks were made in Philadelphia and are quite common. However, certain minting errors and variations can turn a regular coin into a rare collectible worth serious money. And that's where things get interesting. Key factors that affect value. So what can make a 1993 Lincoln penny worth more than 1 cent? Here are the top factors collectors look for minting errors. This is the biggest one. Coins that were misprinted, struck off center, double struck, or contain die cracks or cuts can be extremely valuable. A 1993 penny with a clear double die error, especially in the date or lettering, can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. Condition and grade. A coin in mint state or uncirculated condition, meaning it has not been used or has no visible wear, will always be worth more. A 1993 penny graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can sell for over $100. And that's just the clean, well-preserved ones. Unique toning or color. Some collectors love coins that have developed a unique natural color over time, such as vibrant blues, purples, or reds. If your 1993 penny has unusual toning, it might just attract high bids from collectors. Point 4. Rarity due to low survival rate. Even though billions were made, only a small number remain in pristine condition today. That makes high-grade examples valuable over time due to supply and demand. Examples of high-value sales. You might be wondering what these coins are actually selling for. Well, let's take a look at some real examples from recent auctions and marketplaces. Point 1. Collector paid over $250 for a 1993 no mint mark penny graded MS68 red by PCGS. Another similar coin with a dramatic off-center strike sold for over $1,000. And in rare cases where multiple errors combined, some of these coins have approached values in the tens of thousands. There are even rumors in the collector world about million-dollar sales, though these are usually unconfirmed or involve extremely rare one-of-a-kind coins not available to the general public. Still, the fact remains. Some 1993 pennies have made their owners rich. How to check your penny? So how can you tell if your 1993 penny is special? First, examine it closely under a magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the date, or letters like Liberty, or In God We Trust. Check the surface for cracks, bumps, or unusual features. Is it perfectly centered? Is the design clean and crisp? Next, consider getting it graded by a professional service. If your penny is in excellent condition and you think it may be rare, a small investment in grading can make a big difference in final value. Where to sell your penny? If you think you have a valuable coin, you can sell it through several trusted platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, great collections, or local coin dealers. Make sure to research past sales and consider getting expert advice before accepting any offers. Some rare coins have skyrocketed in value simply because the seller took the time to verify its uniqueness. Final thoughts. So there you have it. The 1993 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin might seem like pocket change, but under the right conditions it could be worth a fortune. Whether it's due to a mint error, a high grade, or simply collector demand, these little copper coins prove that big value can come in small packages. So the next time you get change from the store, take a moment to look closely at your pennies. You never know. That 1 cent might just be the beginning of your journey into the $1 Million Coin Club. Call to action: if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing coin stories and money mysteries. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're going to start checking your change. And until next time, keep collecting, keep exploring, and always check your pockets.